Hey everyone, my name is Brittany, and I started studying the Bible in April of 2017. And when I started, I knew absolutely nothing about it. It was a lot of information, it was confusing, sometimes stressful. So I wanted to start a Bible for beginners Bible study. Um, Last week we talked about Esther. So this week we're going to turn back to 1 Samuel. Okay, so we're at 1 Samuel, and this was right around the time of Judges. Remember all that crazy stuff going on? So a woman named Hannah, who was very loved by her husband, could not bear children. But God remembered her, opened her womb, and she bore a man named Samuel, to whom she dedicated to the Lord. He studied under the priest named Eli. Samuel became a great prophet, and the Philistines and Israelites went to war, of course. And in the same day, the Ark of the Covenant, remember where that is, in the Holy of Holies where God resides, was stolen. And Eli and both of his sons died. The Ark brought plagues on the Philistines, so they returned it. And Samuel led them into serving only God and giving God an offering, so God protected the Israelites from the Philistines. As Samuel got older, the people asked for a new king. And God told Samuel to make a man named Saul king. He was tall and strong, and Saul led them in many battles. This is not the same Saul as the New Testament Saul. Don't get that one confused like my kids did. That was a long conversation. Let's see. But it got to a point where he kind of became too confident in himself, not really listening to God and giving himself more credit than he gave God, kind of thing. So he started not listening to God, not following his commandments. So God took away the land of Israel from him. God's spirit left him, so evil ones entered, and to keep them away, Saul hired a boy named David to play the lyre, an instrument, for him. Let's see. God also sent Samuel to David to anoint him as the new king of Israel. So you've got Saul and his guy David that plays and makes him feel better. And then you've got Samuel, who then swoops in and tells David, you're going to be the new king. So you're going to take over this now crazy guy's position. So as you can kind of imagine, it's not going to go that well. Alright, so then we get to the Battle of David and Goliath, which many of you know, where Goliath's 9 foot 9 inches, David's this tiny little boy, and everyone was afraid of Goliath. And Goliath said, if anyone could kill him, the Philistines would serve the Israelites. So, I'm sorry, my camera just went crazy. So David went up against him in the name of the Lord, wasn't afraid at all, picked up a little pebble, slingshotted it, hit him right between the eyes, killed him instantly. So, because of that, hang on. Because of that, then David became this really high rank, right? So David was known for killing and just being crazy in war because the Lord was there with him. He could kill hundreds of thousands of men. So he became high rank in Saul's army. But he was so good that Saul, remember the king that's kind of losing it, began to get jealous of him, and rightfully so. So Saul kept sending David out onto battles, trying to get him killed, and just upping it. But God was always with David. So he was always successful. So since that didn't work, Saul tried to kill David himself several times. And never worked. But then God gave David the chance to kill Saul. They were in a cave. Saul was right there. David was behind him. He got close enough to where he could cut off a piece of his robe, but he didn't kill him because he knew that it wasn't his battle. It was that God would take care of Saul. And that you can find that in 1 Samuel chapter 24. He refuses to kill him again when a sword was left right beside him in chapter 26. And Saul's like, well, you are a much better man than me because you had that chance and you didn't take it. 1 Samuel ends after David is involved in quite a few more battles. Samuel, the first king up here, has passed away. And Saul has entered into a battle with the Philistines again. And in order to not be abused by them, not be captured and abused and, all that, he killed himself and fell on his own sword. So next, we won't. So next week, we're going to go a little bit more into 1 Samuel. And we're going to study chapter 25, where probably my favorite woman of the Bible is mentioned. And her name is Abigail. Old Testament is not as easy to me as New Testament is. I have a lot of trouble understanding Old Testament, and I have to study it a little bit more. But Abigail's story is amazing and has stuck with me from the very beginning of my Bible story. And she has always just called to me and been one of my favorites. So next week we will learn about her. God bless. Have a great week.